like that. Hi, this Miss Melinda. How y'all doing out there? I'll tell you, I've been partying up a storm today. I just drank a little bit of coffee, not much. I cut myself off, in the morning. But um, I just have been having a really lot of manic episodes today and tonight, and I love it. I was born happily manic, so I'm blessed. I have the world at my feet. It's sad to say that 90% of manics that are born manic, they're manic depressive, and I hate that because I don't get depressed, and I've had so many doctors, say, "Oh, I said, "I'm manic." "Oh, you're manic depressive." No, I'm not manic depressive, and I'm so sick of having to explain that. I said, "I am happily manic. That's all I am, manic." And boy, do I love it. Once in a while, it can get a little on somebody's nerves, but most people enjoy my peppy, bubbly personality. Um, and so, yeah, I'm feeling really good tonight. I was blasting music, 70s. I was blasting 70s disco, black soul disco, but there's a lot of white people in there too. And it's got actually 4 DVDs. And so I was blasting that while I was researching. So I got a really good class tonight, and it's really long. For those of you who haven't watched much of my shows, if you could please subscribe, that'd be great, and hit my like button. Um, Maybe you've already been looking around. Oh, this is what I got to tell everybody. So, yeah, maybe you've been jumping, hopefully, you've been jumping into other videos just to see more about what I'm about. Um, but, um, but we will be focusing on this one long class, and it's called Trials, quote unquote. So, this is what I want you all to do right this minute. Everybody, my subscribers, my fans, my viewers, and people who have just hopped on. When you get into Melinda Ivkovitz's uh, personal YouTube channel, Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. Welcome to my show, everybody, and all the new people. Yeah, so come and hang out with us. We have a lot of fun. So I'm teaching all the steps before you get into the courtroom, all the preliminary steps and all the steps before you get into the courtroom with the, I think, what do I have, 3? Yeah, this is law class 4, and it's called Trials. So I'm not going to teach it again. I think I've actually said it twice, maybe. I've already taught. So on the first 3 trials videos, law classes 1, 2, and 3, at least one of them, maybe 2 out of them, tell the preliminary hearings and the steps that are taken before we make it into a courtroom. I've already said this in at least one of my videos, maybe 2 of them, because you have to elaborate too when I'm teaching you that. You have to elaborate. So that's exactly what I did tonight. I elaborated. I says, okay, I've taught them all the steps before you get into the courtroom, and how you can, oh, wait, this is what I was going to tell everybody right this minute. I need everybody to, so you're in my channel, okay? You see my picture of my green dress, and right below it'll say home, videos, and shorts, and something else. Get out of home, or you're never going to be able to follow me. You won't see my videos. Get out of that home and press videos. And then, boom, you'll have me right now talking at the very top. I'll be the very first. Well, no, you won't see me yet because I have to upload it. I don't it's live, but it's not live like to the minute. I still have to upload it when I'm done. I don't like record it, upload it already. I wouldn't even know how to do that. But get into videos, and you won't see this one yet, but you'll see the first three of this class I'm teaching you right now. Okay, you'll see Law Class 1 called Trials, Law Class 2 called Trials, Law Class 3 called Trials, and it'll go backwards. So one will be to the right, then 2 to the left, 3 to the left, and then I'm 4 to the left, okay? So I want you, right? Oh, you're not, yeah, you can't see me live, but I want you to watch those 3 videos, Law Class 1, 2, and 3, called, quote, Trials, okay? This is going to be maybe a year-long class. Well, I'm going to be teaching law for the rest of my life, and I will go back to teaching neurology and neural terminology and the solar system and black holes and galaxies and phonetics and linguistics, but I am just so sick of all that right now, and I really have to simplify a lot of the next time I teach, that won't be for like a year. I'll teach. I'm going to do like Q&As throughout this. I love Q&As with shocking answers. So you'll get that once in a while. And those people just have a ball, because these are questions. I know how to ask that my co-pilot, my Microsoft assistant, Cortana, she has conversations with me, and I know how to just ask and ask and ask, and I love it because she's a robot. So she don't lose her patience or have any emotions or feelings. She talks like she does. They computerized her that way, but she's a robot. But she's smarter than any lawyer, any lawyer at Harvard, because she's the multi-billion-dollar Microsoft business. Okay, press videos right now, and then you'll get all my videos. So the 3 trial videos will be right at the top on the left, and you'll get a nice long row, and then you'll see in the same screen your whole computer's. A lot of you are doing it on your cell phones. I hate that, but I guess your cell phones are big enough that you can what do you call it, full screen. So I don't do this I don't do like full screen I'm not into cell phones, okay? I'm old fashioned. So can you what do they call it? Full screen. Can you full screen my videos on a cell phone so you can see me better? Can you full screen me and blow me up so you can see me better I would like you to watch me on a laptop where you full screen it and it's big like that. That's after I upload this, I'll be watching it on my laptop. Yeah. This tablet's good too, but cell phones are so damn tiny. So just full screen it if you're only using your cell phone. Full screen it, and I think you can zoom it some. You don't want to zoom it too much, but yeah, I think you got the power of zooming that on your devices. I'm still got to get a new updated cell phone. Okay, so I said, I've already taught them the steps before we get to the courtroom. A lot of, So I said, I'm going to start with Cortana, my Microsoft assistant. We're doing the steps in chronological order, starting with step 1. When you first get into the courtroom, what are the steps we take? And I hit, the enter or whatever, and I got a beautiful, I got like, I think I got this one page, and then there was nothing like more to it. Like it was not that, it started out good, but there was nothing, when you went inside it, there was nothing really more there. So, but after that, I got into a page that will, I got into a page that shows all the steps in the courtroom and just things that you need to do. And then it's got a, black bold title and then a little paragraph, black bold title and a paragraph, you know, and then um, and then you got the steps, and those are kind of like I call them part of the steps. Um, so let's do this. Let's just do this, and um, I'm getting more people. I've been checking my analytics um, um, on, well, for this class I have, okay? And people are starting to watch me longer time. They don't just view it for 5 minutes and leave, or 10 minutes and leave, or view it for 4 minutes. On this new law class, it's finally something that you and I can understand what I'm saying. And it's exciting, and sensational. It's about fame, fortune, sex, murder, all the sensational topics of discussion that everybody just loves to hear. So here we are. Melinda's a diva herself. That's why it's called Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's get started. And after, if you listen, you have to listen. I'm creating a story starting from law class 1, trials. You must go back there and watch those 3. Watch 1 first, then 2, then 3, then this. But I noticed people, when I started this new law class, the first class of this law class, it grabbed people's interest. It's very interesting topics. And they could understand when they tried to watch me. They could understand what I'm saying. It's not a bunch of real difficult, long words, So I'm doing the steps after after you get in the courtroom. But there's like words. I get to a part where I have like a list, black word, title, and then like a small paragraph. I don't know if you would consider those steps, but they are. So I assume the other team has to do the same. You'll see. Let me just start reading this. I want a sip of my hot chocolate before it gets cold, but then it's going to melt my beautiful red lipstick. Oh, no. Don't I look cute in my hat? My silver bowl matches my silver choker, sterling silver choker. It's a match. There's silver glitter in this top, but you can't see it. That was delicious. So now I got to slap my lipstick back on again. And you guys are going, well, we ain't going to wait much longer. I'm hurrying. Okay. I don't know how that mark got there, but I fixed it. Okay, is that nice? Yeah, that looks good. Let's go. Okay, so here's how this works. Stages of a criminal. Okay, this is not the rest of this is one page by itself. And then all the starting page 2, it's a long one. It goes 2 pages. I think 22. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know, like 22 something. Okay, stages of a criminal trial and the legal process, okay? the trial, okay, I don't like this like this. I have to get comfortable. I'm too fussy. Okay, so the trial process, Judicial Learning Center. Okay, 1, opening statements. 2, presenting the prosecution. Plaintiff's evidence, opening statements. Okay. 3, presenting the defense's evidence, period. The defendant then presents their for closing arguments. The defendant then presents their closing arguments. Once the attorneys for both sides have presented their, I don't know, then it went goofy on me. But here we go. This is 1 page. On the internet, my laptop, you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And that is what I wanted. And I knew it was going to be hard to find, to get it that much detail, that long like that, instead of just giving you a few, basic steps that they say from the beginning to the end, and there's really more. See, that's why I'm a good teacher, because I'm manic, so I think a lot deeper than the normal mind. Okay, so here we go. It's called Law Class 4, Trials. The trial, opening statements, how to structure an effective opening statement. So see, even though I taught you a lot about opening statements, there's more and more. And that's what makes me a good teacher. I could just go on about the trial and okay, I did the opening statements for him, move on. No, there's a lot more to learn, and I'm going to teach you. We're really trying to be like it's a real trial, and that we want to win, okay? We want to win. It means everything to us. So I have to do a lot of research on opening statements, because I just keep getting more and more the more I look up opening statements. So here's some brand new opening statements. So it's okay that I already taught it, because this part 1 I didn't get, when I Googled last time, or I Cortana'd it, I got different information. So this I got today, and this is I think even better than anything. So it's how to structure an effective opening statement. So number 1, introduction. Start by addressing the jury or judge warmly. Okay? Introduction. Start by addressing the jury or judge warmly and professionally. So you want to be very warm, kind, gentle, not full of any stress or anger or discomforts. You want to have an introduction starting by addressing the jury and judge peacefully and warmly and professionally, and tell the story. Here's the next one, to how to structure an effective opening statement. Number 2, tell the story after intros, transition into your case's story. Tell the story after intros, transition into your case's story. So I started to do what I planned to do this morning. I said, I'm going to start out every time I'm working and researching and preparing for class. I'm going to start watching where I can't wear my music headphones yet. I'm going to start watching videos, but I'm not going to try to take notes necessarily, or I might have taken a little. I just am going to listen to how they talk. So I listened to, I think he's Mr. Martinez, State's Attorney Martinez, I think was his last name, if I'm right, with the Jodi Arias trial. That's what this law class, we're using Jodi Arias, but we're gonna also. I came up with a few goodies. We're gonna instead of OJ next, I'm gonna put this couple out in Las Vegas. I watched that trial too, and it is unbelievable. Bricks of gold. Okay, Vegas. Okay, it's sex, drugs, fame and fortune, and murder, and it's another exciting trial that we'll be dipping into. At the same time as Jodi, That's why it's called trials. It's called trials. Not. I got this one written wrong because I hadn't. Yeah, it's called trials, plural, not the trials. So I'll be dipping into. We still got the two Petersons. We got Drew Peterson that murdered two of his wives in Bolingbrook, Illinois. That was a cool movie, and I watched that whole trial. And the Scott Peterson out in Modesto, California, murdered Lacey Peterson, his wife, 9 months pregnant, Christmas Eve night. Yeah, he murders her because he's stuck with a kid to have to pay for, and a house payment, and he decides he wants another woman that he met, going to as a masseuse a little distance away from where they live. Okay, let's stick to the class, Melinda. Okay, so Law Class 4 trials, opening statements, how to structure an effective opening statement. All right, I already told you, start out addressing the jury warmly and professionally. Number 2, tell the story after. So you're going to tell, and so this is what I got onto. I watched some footage, YouTube video footage, of Mr. Martinez, I think his name is. Just call him the state's prosecuting attorney. Okay, I watched his opening statements to learn how to say it. Like I taught you some about opening statements, what to say, what to do. But I listened to how, a high-profile prosecutor in Arizona, you have to be a real top-notch, hot-shot lawyer, reputation lawyer, up the wazoo to get, a high-profile trial. And that's all we're doing is high-profile trials. And that's all I would do if I was a criminal defense attorney, which that's what we are right now. And you guys are too. I'm teaching you to be lawyers. Okay, so, number 1, okay, we already read that. Okay, so number 2, tell the story. And I couldn't believe, I didn't know that's how it went like that. Even though I've watched so many, I watched that one and so many high-profile trials. And even not high-profile, it's not quite as exciting. Well, not as exciting at all as exciting. But, low-profile trials can still be good and exciting, but not like high-profile. So I didn't know. I was watching the opening statements of I can't talk right now. Jodi Arias, her trial, opening statements with the prosecuting attorney goes first. And I watched and listened, and I had no idea. I thought the trials, all trials, not just high profile, any trial, that it would start like from the beginning, and as the time went on, the audience and the jurors would learn a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit. Well, that's true. We did go that way, but I thought they were going to start like, they told so what he did, this is what I learned. See why I can't just, I taught you opening statements on at least one of my 3 videos or 2 of my 3 videos. But you got to research more because I had no idea. He goes into the actual murder and the crime scene. But he actually relives the whole story before the night of the crime scene and the night of her murdering him. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I didn't know they did that. And so I did watch a lot longer than I'm thinking, which was smart, because what I taught you in opening statements, that was just the beginning. I didn't let it go and say, let's move on. I said, no, we're doing more research. And I said, oh, and I'm going to listen to the state, attorney, the prosecuting attorney's opening statements. He goes first, then the defense. Listen to it, watch it, and I'm glad I stayed. Well, I loved it. I watched the whole trial, but I'm trying to get a class together, so it's not like I got all the time in the world. But yeah, I want to do a lot of listening where I can't wear my music headphones, because I'm going to be doing a lot of, they got like day 1 trial, day 2. I'm going to be doing a lot of watching, you see. And everything I heard in that courtroom that day, not that day, however long it took. Well, I would think it had to have taken longer than a month. I don't know. I'll have to find out. High-profile trials are a lot longer. So anyway, my whole point is he carried us right through. Well, I want to save stuff like for the end of classes, so that you will listen to me now. Are you listening to me, everybody? Or are you spacing out? Okay, so I'm building a story, but you got to listen and think about what I'm saying, okay? Because you'll get more and more excited. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, hit my like, and go watch all 3 of these. The trial class, okay? It's called law class. Well, this is 4, and it's called trials. So the last 3 are up at the top. Be under videos. Don't be in home. Home throws my videos all over the freaking place. Yeah. It's not in chronological order, and you don't get all the rows, row after row after row. I want you to see row after row after row, the whole long screen. Even in your cell phone, you should be able to, I guess. Hopefully that's how it works. Okay, so they were saying number 2 is to tell the story after you introduce, yourself, and addressing the jury or judge warmly and professionally. Then you tell the story, like the prosecuting attorney of Arizona was doing today on that YouTube footage. I learned a lot, and I watched 90% of it. So I see. You tell the whole story from beginning to end. I didn't know that. See, you guys probably didn't either, because I didn't tell you. I don't think clearly we knew it that way. And so, see how I say, okay, I'm going to watch a lawyer, and the lawyer of this Jodi Arias, as a matter of fact. That, don't make your face so intense, Melinda. Relax. Okay, so, so what I'm saying is, you tell the story after you introduce yourself and you act warm and professionally. And then 3, outline the evidence. Outline the evidence. Yeah. Outline the evidence. While you won't be presenting evidence in detail. You won't be presenting evidence in detail. So, okay, I got lost, sorry. Here I am. Okay, outline the evidence while you won't be presenting evidence in detail, comma. Give the jury a roadmap of what to expect, okay? Yeah. Okay. So you got to give a roadmap of what to expect. I'll have to. That's it right there. Giving what to expect. I'll have to Cortana that one. What do they mean? Give the jury a roadmap of what to expect. So I don't know what that means, and it's a good thing. I will. Here, let me underline this. I will. While you're all at work or whatever it is you're doing, roadmap of what to expect. Okay. So I'm going to research that tomorrow and teach all of us what what to what to teach the jury, what to expect. Okay. And then the fourth one is conclude with purpose. End your statement. It says conclude with purpose. End your statement by reinforcing um, the key takeaway uh, you see. I got this all messed up out of order. End your statement by reinforcing want the jury to remember. I had to put the member out of order, okay, because I ran out of room on the paper. I wasn't going to put one word at the top of one piece of paper, no. So it says take away, you want the jury to remember, okay? So when you conclude with purpose in your statement by reinforcing the key takeaway, what you want the jury to remember, okay? Now this is all in like one page in my, laptop. You just keep scrolling down. So that's why this is the best class for being the fourth class. This was the best thing that happened to us because it's telling us everything in order. I don't have to keep, you know, like write a little bit and then go back to Google or to my Cortana, Microsoft Assistant, and ask more questions. I got slapped with the whole freaking 9 yards, but I'll still be doing more research for more people to say different things. But this is a kick-ass knowledge. But this will go on for the rest of my life. I'm going to be teaching to the rest of my life. In law, I will be teaching the rest of my life. And probably some neurology and the solar system and stuff. And then I'll have like easy classes. But I'm not going to have nothing except once in a while I'll have like Q&A shocking answers, because that really gets people going and enjoying it, If you're at a bar having a cocktail with your friends, you can have fun with Q&As, Okay, like everybody take a guess what they think the answer is. And okay, so here is opening statement example. Tips. Okay. Tips. Yeah, I gotta lean back some. All right. See, my boobs don't look as intense up here, so I don't really need to look forward, I guess. I can lean back with this one. All right, I'll lean back. Okay, so there we are. So here's some tips. And opening statements sets the stage for a trial. Okay? So, shaping how a jury or judge views the case. It's your first opportunity to make an impression and outline your case's narrative. Okay? Are you all listening to me, guys? Okay? Understanding the art of crafting. Okay? So you're going to learn to craft like a high-profile lawyer crafts his questionnaires for his voir dire and his possible potential, they call it, and potential jurors. You're going to learn the art of crafting questionnaires for potential jurors, etc. So understanding the art of crafting. And then there's the next, it says Oh, a persuasive opening statement. You have a persuasive opening statement. Can dramatically influence your case's success. Can dramatically influence your case's success. Now you guys have to listen and think about what I'm saying so that you'll have a whole story from all 4 videos. When you get this, you'll have 4 videos. And you got to watch each video starting with number 1. Watch them each at least 5, 10 times. I watch them over and over because I'm trying to memorize them, you know. I don't exactly expect you to memorize, you know, verbatim, but I would like you to keep going back for this class. And I would like you to go back to the judicial system on your own time. When you're not watching the trials show, you go to jump around, you know, all over the place. But you'll see I'm like real mess in the beginning because I was fist fighting with my tablet. So if you see me acting really weird with my head stiff and stuttering on my words and dropping my papers, I was just a mess because I don't know. I have to take a class. I actually started a class. I have a help now. I go to an appointment and I actually have a guy teaching me how to use the tablet. Okay, moving on. Law class 4, trials. Why opening statements matter in court. Okay. So an opening statement, wait, I don't like my chair here. It's got to be like that. Like that. Okay. Okay. An opening statement gives you a chance to introduce the facts of the case and outline your argument. It's not about presenting evidence or making legal arguments just yet, comma. It's about painting a picture of what the jury can expect. Okay, here we're back to that again. What can the jury expect? We're supposed to give them what the jury can expect, and it's being said again. Here, it's saying it again. It's about painting a picture of what the jury can expect, okay? A strong opening statement helps, okay? So this has got like, number 1, establish credibility with the jury. Establish credibility with the jury. And then let's see, I lost my place. It's okay. It's about painting a picture of what the jury can expect. Strong opening statement helps. Establish credibility with the jury. Number 2, frame your case in a way that aligns with your goals. Okay? It says, frame your case in a way that aligns with your goals. Okay? And then simplify complex legal or factual issues. Okay, here's the title. Failing to deliver a effective opening statement risks losing the jury's attention or allowing the opposition to dominate the narrative. Okay, did you hear that? It says, we're continuing on from what I've been talking about. Simplify complex legal or factual issues. Simplify everything you're going to say when you're doing the opening statements. Try to keep it simple, you know. And then failing to deliver an effective opening statement risks losing the jury's attention or allowing the opposition to dominate the narrative, period. And here's the title. how to structure an effective opening statement. A strong opening statement does more than outline your case. It provides the jury with a clear lens, L-E-N-S, with a clear lens like glasses. It provides the jury with a clear lens through which to view the evidence and arguments they'll encounter. Okay, let's read this one more time. A strong opening statement does more than outline your case. It provides the jury with a clear lens to see through which to view the evidence and arguments they'll encounter, period. By crafting, see, we have to learn crafting. We have to get crafty. Okay, and we can do that. Okay. Law Class 4 Trials. Here's the title, a thoughtful and organized statement. You can build credibility. Engage your audience and set the stage for the narrative you want to unfold. During the trial. Set the stage for the narrative you want to unfold during the trial. Here are the basic elements you should include. Okay, so here we go. I got this for you guys. This is going to go a long ways. I got 22 or 23 pages. Then I got a little stack of papers that I thought after class I would read those to you. It's some surprises about Jodi Arias. Okay, so that's at the end of class. So if you stick around and you think about what I'm saying, are you spacing out? Or are you paying attention? Okay, and you got to think about what I'm saying, and it becomes a story, and it gets exciting, because like I said, it has everything: fame, fortune, sex, murder, so stick around because you're going to hear it all. And you'll hear some of sex or some parts of the murder, and then you won't. You'll hear other stuff, and then you'll hear more about sex and more about the murder. So it's going to be constantly exciting up and down and all around. Okay, a thoughtful and organized statement. You can build credibility. Engage your audience and set the stage for the narrative you want to unfold during the trial. Here are the basic elements you should include. Introduction. Start by addressing the jury or judge warmly and professionally. Okay, I have read this to you already. Somehow I got doubled on it. That's okay, it won't hurt. Briefly introduce yourself, your client, and the purpose of the trial. Avoid legal jargon, quote unquote. Avoid legal jargon at this stage because it intimidates people. Legal jargon, a lot of people don't know a lot of, they know some legal jargon, but a lot they don't know. So you want to avoid legal jargon, because it intimidates the jurors and makes them feel uncomfortable, Okay, so start by adjusting. Okay, so introduce yourself, your client, and the purpose of the trial. Avoid legal jargon at this stage, semicolon. Focus on connecting with your audience. Focus on connecting with your audience. Now, this is where I told you before. You have to be able to start a conversation, a nice, sweet, happy. Well, they can't talk, but you start talking to them, and focus on connecting with your audience. You talk, and don't be in a hurry, and just talk real sweet, nice, and establish a rapport. I could see lawyers. I've been watching lawyers, like I told you, since the 60s, trials. But mostly I'm talking, I got to real trials. Yeah. and they might not necessarily been. I watched all the high profile. I've watched probably every high profile child they've had since the 1980s. And then in the 60s, you watch, episodes of Perry Mason. That was a TV show, but it was very realistic. And I learned and watched them work the courtroom and the jury. And I learned a lot watching the lawyers work the courtroom and the jury at the OJ trial, too. I've seen all the high profile, but I've seen all of, like, on Forensic Files. They might show part of a trial in Forensic Files, too, which they still play on headline news. But I've seen every episode 100 times, so I won't watch it. All right, let's get with the class and stay focused. So tell the story after introduction transitions into your case's story. Highlight the key facts. Introduce important parties. And set the tone. Use clear, relatable language that resonates with the jury. Okay, let's read that again. After introductions, transition into your case's story. Highlight the key facts. Introduce important parties, and introduce the important parties. Use clear relative language that resonates with the jury. Outline the evidence is the title. While you won't be presenting evidence in detail, give the jury a roadmap of what to expect. Explain how the evidence will prove your case and align with the story you've introduced. Okay, so it sounds like, every time I teach a class, I learn something that I say, hey, that's something I have to Cortana, my Microsoft assistant, and elaborate. Whenever you're watching me, do a video, we'll come to something that I don't know. And I says, well, I'll have to look that one up tomorrow. So there was something in here I have to. It's, which one was it? Outline the evidence. Oh, the roadmap to what to expect. Underline that. Yeah, so I'm gonna get into that, and I will teach it. I should teach that next class. Anything. I had something else I wanted to look up. That all has to be looked up in one class when you're doing the class, and then anything that you had to look up from like this class should go into the next class. Correct. So now my fans, students, and me will know what it all meant. All right. Conclude with purpose. End your statement by reinforcing the key takeaway. You want the jury to remember. Tie it back to the case's main theme, and set up your closing argument. All right, guys? All right, here we got a new title. See, this all just kept coming. I hit the jackpot when I hit this. When I looked this up, I hit the jackpot. It had pages and pages, screens and screens, and my laptop going down. All what I want. Okay, so here's tips for crafting persuasive opening statements. Okay, know your audience. Who are they there for? What are they there for? What do they have to think about? You have to know your audience. Learn, talk to them and look them in the eyes, in the face. Very, with a nice smile, and be very slow and calm and relaxed. Yeah, that's funny I'm saying this because the prosecuting attorney gets loud. He starts screaming, and it's coming later. Don't worry. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You got to watch me long enough because I'll come up with something exciting. This prosecuting attorney, I keep telling you, be real slow and calm and all this. And that state's attorney, that prosecuting attorney at the Jodi Arias trial, he would start screaming. Yeah. So here, tips for crafting persuasive opening statements. Know your audience. The jury is the most critical audience for your opening statement. Speak to their common sense. See, they want you to speak to their common sense. It's in the beginning of the trial. Don't put the jury in an uncomfortable or tense or stressful situation where you're trying to tell them about the murder, the whole story from the beginning. They want you to speak to their common sense because that relaxes everybody and they can think for themselves. If you're talking to their common sense, they can think and understand what you're saying, and they don't feel intimidated. If you speak to their common sense instead of trying to speak to their IQ and intelligence. Don't go that route. Don't try to sound like you're real educated, smart to make them think, that he should win the case or some stupid ass thinking like that. No. So, speak to their common sense and experience while staying grounded in facts. You don't be jumping all over the place, Avoid overly technical language. Again, it'll intimidate them and it'll make them go astray. It'll make them space out and uninterested. So avoid overly technical language, that could alienate them. Yeah. So if you use too much technical language or too much legal jargon or rhetoric that they might not understand, you could alienate the jury and intimidate the jury. Okay, so begin with a compelling first sentence that grabs attention. See, I think of this. I think like this already. That's how I get these answers and these questions, because I think like that already. It says begin with a compelling first sentence. Well, that's what I do with the title of my video. If you look at the bottom of my video, the title is, fame, fortune, exciting sensation, sex, murder. I got that written underneath my videos. See? Because I know that grabs attention. And that's what they're telling you here. When you start out in the beginning of the trial in the courtroom, hit them with something exciting, compelling, first sentence that grabs attention. Well, I'm going to add to it, hit them with something real exciting, and something they want to think about and grab their interest from the first sentence. Yeah, and then you got to keep their attention. Okay, so grab their attention. This might be a key fact and emotional appeal, or a simple, direct statement of your case's theme, okay? Direct statement of your case's theme. What is the theme of your part in the trial? We should look that one up too. Let's just, we're gonna define theme better. What exactly? I will ask my Microsoft Assistant. Define theme in the way of a trial. Theme could be all kinds of things, but in the way of a trial, what exactly is the theme? So define theme. Okay, and now, title of the next one. Focus on clarity. So see, this is what I was talking about. I was lucky because I get to this, and I struck oil, I hit the jackpot. I got a whole list and I'm scrolling down, I'm getting more and more. I'm going, oh my God, this is it. It'll be my whole class. This will take my whole class. And it did, and so this is what I'm talking about. These are words here, titles here are not really called like a step, okay? But it's teaching you. Think about focus on clarity. So they're in my steps, okay? But they're not like literally, like focus on clarity is not a step in the trial. But I want you to kind of think of it as a step, kind of like just always, not just a step. I want you to always, throughout the whole trial, focus on clarity through the whole trial. Okay, did I read the top yet? Wait. Start strong. Begin with a compelling first sentence that grabs attention. This might be a key fact, an emotional appeal, or a simple, direct statement of your case's theme. Focus on clarity. Simplify your case into a theme that the jury can follow. Are you listening, guys? And paying attention? Okay? Are you thinking about what I'm saying? Or are you spacing out? You got to think about what I'm saying, all right? So that you can enjoy the whole trial. If you space out, you better come back and watch it. Well, I want you to watch them 10 times a piece. I watch them, over and over. So I want you to, so if you miss something, you will get them when you keep watching. But I don't want you to miss anything in the first place. Stay with me, please. So focus on clarity is simplify your case into a theme that the jury can follow. If you're defending a client in a personal injury case, quote unquote, for example, the theme might be responsibility or fairness. Okay, let's read that one again. That's good. So if you're defending a client in a personal injury case, for example, the theme might be responsibility for the person who did the injury, like a car accident, then they need to take responsibility for it. It says, defending a client, if you're defending a client in a personal injury, might be responsibility, the theme might be responsibility or fairness. I don't know if he means his client. Well, if he's defending a client in personal injury, then it sounds like he's the one that did the injury. Like he's the defendant's lawyer. Okay. So defending a client in a personal injury case. For example, the theme might be responsibility or fairness. Okay. Now, use plain language. A conversational tone keeps the jury engaged, okay? And makes your message more memorable, okay? A conversational tone keeps the jury engaged and makes your message memorable, period. Avoid being overly theatrical. Now here I got something to say about this. Okay, that's why watching trials, I could be as good as a lawyer that had to go through all the education to get to pass the bar exam. I watch so many, high profile and low profile trials, and I listen to every freaking word they say. I don't lose, when I'm watching a live trial on TV, I don't lose my attention. I don't space out on trials. No. But here, this is what they're saying now. They're saying to you, avoid being overly theatrical as a lawyer, okay? Or dramatic. Semicolon. Focus on sincerity and confidence. Okay, I like this. Focus on sincerity and confidence is good. But I totally disagree about avoiding theatrical or dramatic. Avoid being overly theatrical or dramatic. I disagree because the state's attorney, the prosecuting attorney, would get real theatrical, real dramatic, and start getting louder and louder. And I think I remember him actually screaming and getting angry and very theatrical. And he has to have, you know, he has to have a reputation, you know, I can't think of the right rhetoric. He has to have the reputation of, you know, we're picking you for this high profile trial. He has to have the reputation for them to pick him. So obviously he's won a lot of cases. In fact, I think he had a whole history, maybe 50 trials. I don't know I'll have to Google that. And they said, I think he won I don't know if he won every trial he's ever done. But yeah, I forgot. That's how they do a lot of deciding who they're going to. I want to know. I forget who decides who's going to be the prosecuting attorney in the high profile trial. Is that the judge? Well, we got a whole new conversation we got to learn. So, yeah. So obviously, this prosecuting attorney has a high record of winning cases. I forgot about that. Would be probably the biggest requirement would be your how many trials you won and how many you lost. If you lost then you're not going to get it. I'm going to look up his reputation for that. And then I want to ask if the judge is the one that picks him, picks, or does the judge have a few judges that get together? I'm not sure. I didn't think about that. I'm gonna Microsoft that. Okay, so use plain language. A conversational tone keeps the jury engaged and makes your message memorable. Avoid dramatic focus on. Avoid being overly theatrical or dramatic, which I disagree on. It depends on the lawyer. This guy, I know he's won a lot of cases. I'm going to look that up. But he was a smash hit with his theatrics and drama. And then it keeps the jury awake and interested. When you got a lawyer, and I've seen many trials where the guy's very monotone and the attorney's talking very monotone and soft-spoken. But that time I saw that lawyer, he was very monotone and slow and soft and slow speaking kind of, and not a lot of emotion. That was the one where the guy won. And he was real soft. Yeah, I think he had a really big shot reputation too. That was the Trayvon Martin one, where the little black boy got shot by a wannabe cop. Okay, we don't got time. Let's go on. A conversational tone keeps the jury engaged and makes your message memorable. Avoid being overly theatrical or dramatic. Focus on sincerity and confidence. Okay, and we already said I disagree. I think that helped the state's case for him. I'm going to look up how many trials he's won and does he have any that he lost. It'll be interesting to find out if you can get a prosecuting a job in a high-profile trial if you lost even one trial. I wonder. I'm going to look that up. I never thought of that. All right, here's a new thought. The title is Maintain Eye Contact. Yes. When addressing the jury, look at them directly. This fosters trust and shows you're confident in your case. If you're looking away constantly, pacing the floor and looking away, you're losing their attention and you don't look confident. You look like you're trying to run away, So when addressing the jury, look at them directly and look at them, and this fosters trust and shows you're confident in your case, okay? So avoid reading word for word from notes. Avoid reading word for word, verbatim from notes, okay? As it can come across as rehearsed or disconnected. Stay organized is the next title. Stay organized. Your opening statement should um, scratch that. I was pushing my chair back and I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Okay. Okay, here we go again. So, avoid reading word for word, like verbatim from notes. That'll lose their attention and get bored, and some of them fall asleep. I've seen jurors falling asleep in court sometimes. So, as it can come across as rehearsed or disconnected, if you read some from notes, a bunch of words. Okay, next title is Stay Organized. Your opening statement should flow logically, period. If you jump around or include unnecessary details, you risk losing the jury's focus, period. Stick to the main points and expand on them. Stick to the main points and expand on them. Like I do with you guys. I go on that computer tomorrow and I go to the main points that I've been teaching you and I expand on them like I did today with opening statements and all the steps in the courtroom. I expanded on what some of the things I have taught you already. So I stay on the main points and expand on them. You don't want to lose so including unnecessary details. So if you jump around or include unnecessary details, you risk losing the jury's focus. Stick to the main points and expand on them, as I do for you guys, to teach you as the trial progresses. Okay, anticipate opposition. Be mindful of be mindful, this is my cute hat, isn't that cute? Yeah. All right. Be mindful of what the opposing side might argue and address. Be mindful of what the opposing side might argue and address it subtly, T-L-Y, in your statement, period. This shows competence and preparedness without turning your statement into an argument, period. Practice delivery, okay? Title, rehearse your, quote, opening statement, unquote. So they do want you to rehearse your opening statement. See, they do want you to rehearse it, like I do, multiple times. See, that's what I'm telling you. Watch my videos over and over and over, just like your favorite song. You love it so much, you play it over and over and over. Pretty soon, you memorized every word of that song. How many songs in the time of life you've been on earth here have you memorized because you love them so much? Do you watch me over and over till you really have it in your head? All right, so rehearse your opening statement and then rehearse it multiple times, it's saying, to ensure smooth delivery. Practice in front of colleagues or mentors who can provide constructive feedback. Okay? The following examples are meant to serve as inspiration and found for, quote, creating your own opening statements. Creating your own opening statements. That's real important. They are not one size fits all solutions. They are not one size fits all solutions. Okay? Um, so they're, okay, but rather starting points to help you um, craft a statement that aligns with the specifics of your case and resonates with your audience. Okay? So, for, but rather starting, I'm reading this one more time. They are not one size fit all solutions, but rather starting points to help you craft a statement that aligns with the specifics of your case and resonates with your audience. Example one. Now we're doing examples, so we're getting down to, not too far from being done with class. So we got 6 examples here now we're going to teach. All this was together, all the way down a page in the internet. And so I was able to just get us a whole kick-ass class that all went together. It all goes together. And you can understand what the hell I'm saying. You just got to pay attention and think about what I'm saying. So example 1, personal injury case. So they're telling you how to talk, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is about accountability. On June 10th, my client, John Doe, was driving home from work when his life changed forever. Example. It's still example 1. Continue. Personal injury case. Okay? The defendant, distracted and reckless, ran a red light, crashing into John's car and leaving him with permanent injuries, period. Over the next few days, you will hear testimony from doctors, eyewitnesses, and even the defendant themselves. By the end of this trial, you will see that justice demands holding the defendant accountable for their actions, okay? Holding the defendant accountable for his actions. Next title, example 2, criminal defense case. Quote, prosecution wants you to believe my client committed this crime, period. But the evidence will tell a very different story. You'll hear from experts, see surveillance footage, and learn about witnesses who contradict the prosecution's claims, okay? You got to learn about witnesses who contradict the prosecution's claims. Those are real important. And you need to get them into a deposition in the law firm and then have a court reporter like me take dictation, and then they have to sign, a legal document, me and the witness, where they can't keep changing their story. You remember that? Okay, I thought I'd just throw that in there. So you'll hear from experts, see surveillance footage, and learn about witnesses who contradict the prosecution's claims. All right? Period. This case is not about assumptions or hasty conclusions. Semicolon. It's about facts. Hyphen. Quote, and the facts will show that my client is innocent. And the facts will show that my client is innocent. Okay? We're not too far from being done. So could you please hang in there and think about what I'm saying, okay? All right, here we go. Example 3, and then we only have 3 more examples and like one more really good paragraph or 2, and that's it. Example 3, employment discrimination case. Employment discrimination case. So that might be something you're interested in if you work, okay? Quote, this case is about fairness in the workplace. Talk softer, Marna. My client, Sarah, worked tirelessly for her employer, only to be passed over for promotion time and time again. Only to be passed over for promotion time and time again because of her gender. Over the course of this trial, you will see evidence of discriminatory practices and hear testimony from coworkers who witnessed this unfair treatment. At the end, we believe you will agree that everyone deserves a workplace where merit, not prejudice, determines opportunity. I don't know what trial that one is. Yeah, because this is not Jodi Arias, like the other classes I was talking with it being inside Jodi Arias' trial. Okay, so, or before the trial, Okay, so here's example 4, business litigation. So each one has a different title. Business litigation. Quote, this is a case of broken promises. The defendant entered into a contract with my client, knowing they would not fulfill their obligations. You'll see emails, signed agreements, and financial records that make it clear the defendant breached the contract, causing significant harm to my client's business. At the end of this trial, we'll ask you to ensure those promises mean something. Okay? We're almost done, guys. Okay, you listening and thinking about what I'm saying? Okay, business litigation. See, then when we come back to Jodi Arias, and this one I'm going to do in Vegas, I want it instead of OJ. He could come up later, but I'm going to bring up a Vegas down the road. I'll bring that up because that's a good one. It's got fame, fortune, theft, murder, sex. It's got it all, this Vegas one. So I will be using that during this class also. Okay, so here is example 5. It's called business litigation. Quote, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, imagine trusting a professional with your life, only to be let down by their negligence, period. My client sought medical care to address a routine concern, but the outcome was anything but routine. You will hear from experts and see evidence that demonstrates the preventable mistakes that caused my client unnecessary pain and suffering, okay? By the end of this trial, justice will demand accountability for these actions. Okay, 20. Property dispute case. Cases, that was page 20. Okay, it's example 6. So here we are at the end of that. And then we just got a couple paragraphs. Example 6, this is the last example. Example 6, property dispute case. Property dispute case. Okay, those are bad ones. Oh, they get into fights. Oh, they can get down and dirty, especially if you're neighbors. Okay, quote, this case is about protecting what's rightfully yours. My client, a longtime homeowner, has faced constant encroachments on their property by the defendant, period. Despite repeated efforts to resolve the issue amicably, the defendant has ignored legal boundaries and disregarded my client's rights. Throughout this trial, you will see clearing evidence of these violations and hear testimony proving that upholding property rights is essential to justice. Upholding property rights is essential to justice. Got it? You got that right. This is America, honey. This is America. We want justice. Justice for all. Okay, title, The Role of Storytelling in Opening Statements. Oh, that's cool. Let's see what this is. The role of storytelling in opening statements. People connect with stories. Instead of presenting a dry recitation of facts, weave those facts into a narrative, period. You, use real life examples or anecdotes to make the case relatable. A well told story helps jurors see your client's side clearly and sympathetically. For instance, in a wrongful death case, you might highlight the human impact. Mary was a loving mother of two, a devoted nurse, oh God, and a conversation of her community. Her death wasn't. Her death wasn't just a loss. Wasn't just a loss for her family, but for everyone she touched. Okay, common mistakes to avoid: overloading with info. Too much detail can overwhelm jurors. Stick to the essentials and save the deeper dive, quote unquote, for later stages of the trial. Save the deeper dive, the deeper stuff, for later stages of the trial. It's like you're going to pull up an ace of spades later on when things might not be going so well for you. Save your ace of spades. Save your ace of hearts. Save your queen of hearts and your queen of spades. Save all your, goodies, and just drop one once in a while when you need one, Save the deeper dive for later stages of the trial. Next, being overly aggressive. Avoid attacking the opposing side too strongly in your opening statement. You want to appear reasonable and focused on facts, not combative. Okay, so I watched the Arizona State prosecuting attorney do his opening statements today. I listened for an hour through the whole thing at least. And there was something I was going to say and forgot. Okay, common mistakes to avoid. Oh, it was saying something about to appear reasonable and opening statement, not too strong and aggressive. No, he wasn't in his opening statements. He wasn't too theatrical or aggressive or dramatic. Not in his opening statements. No, that doesn't start up until the tension starts to grow between the three lawyers, the state's attorney Martinez, and then Jodi Arias had two lawyers. A female with long, thick brown hair will cut right to here, and Jodi had hers cut too. So they look like twins, and she looks more innocent with her hair cut short. She had it blonde and real long when she murdered him, but she did it brown and had it cut short here. And her lawyer did that sat next to her. And then she had a big, tall, white lawyer with a big old fat belly. And so as the stress grew between the prosecuting attorney and Jodi Arias' two lawyers, that's when the prosecuting attorney started to get aggressive, and he started getting theatrical, and he started getting dramatic. But I admired it. It made the trial even more exciting. Yeah, I think he was screaming, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I know it. So tomorrow, I'm gonna do a lot of listening again. See, I always wanted to jump right into putting my music headphones on to write my research as I key in this in my laptop. I like this. I'll take this. I like to have blasting music in my ears. It gets me to work and concentrate, and my mind gets manic, and I go into deep thinking mode, and that's how I do it. But I said, from now on, I'm going to make myself no headphones. You're going to listen. There's, you know how much footage there is. Jody talking, Arius. Yeah, I mean, they got her talking. I don't know if they got interviews recently, but they do got. I did look up like jail the other day, her in jail and what's going on. She's well, that's supposed to be for the end of the. Well, this is the end. Before I forget, I'll tell you. So if you were smart enough and interested enough to listen and learn it and absorb it, remember it, think about it, then each class will become more and more fun, and you don't want to miss anything. I will be dragging that Vegas into the picture too, and boy, does it got some goodies for me to tell you. But I'll never tell you the goodies till the end of the videos, because I need you to learn and think about what I'm saying, so you got the whole story, and it will become very fun for you as the time. It's been climaxing since I started the first class. The first class in my black costume is the first class that I called Trials. All right, and law class 1, and I got more hits, and I got watch time. See, I'm getting smart. I start going in analytics and seeing how much, hour watch time I got, and I got 26 hours watch time just this far. We got the rest of our life. I just started that video, just got there, that black costume. Law class 1 Trials. It's not been there very long. Like what, a week and a half? A week? 6 days? Yeah. And it's up to 26 hours of public watch time. So it's like a combination of people. It's not like one person sat down and watched it for 26 hours. Although you should watch, over and over, where it could add up to that. Anyway, I have one that's not too long, that I taped not too long ago, 2 to 3 weeks, and I looked at the analytics tonight. It's got 42 hours of watch time in one of my recent videos. Yeah, with the leather strings, tying my bustier, my leather bustier, brown bustier leather. It's got 42 hours. People have watched it. You can't come over here. I'm filming. You can't come over here. You can't walk behind me because you're going to be in my. You can't come over here. Okay. I'm sorry about that. It's a resident that's confused right now. They don't know. They're confused. It's okay. Okay, so common mistakes to avoid continued. Forgetting the theme. Every effective opening statement has a theme. Okay? Stay consistent with it throughout to ensure the jury remembers your message. I want you to remember everything I've been saying. That's the last page. That's it. Now, I have some pages. Some little gossip. I gotta, there's a couple things, though, I want to look up that I saw, that I know when I was reading that to you. Okay. So, I told you if you stayed and you watched the whole class, I would, I can't read that. Okay, so anyway, got me back a little bit there. All right, we need this further, closer maybe to the front. Does that look cuter? All right, so let me see what I have here. To opening statement she was doing. Okay, so did I tell you the story of Jodi Arias in the interrogation room? Let's see. I don't even know if she was arrested yet at that point. Uh, I'm thinking they arrested her immediately after his. So it's so the victim is the victim and the plaintiff is, well, he's dead. Was Travis Alexander. Okay. Um, I don't know. So the friends came because he was supposed to go to Mexico like the next day. Um, and that's why Jody murdered him, because um, she kept saying, "We take me to Cancun," because he was going to Cancun with some friends. I think it was for business, because they go all over, they travel all over. He was a speaker like me here. He was an open speaker for motivating people like me. See, um, and so I think they were having, a show down in Cancun, Mexico. His company, I think it was. She worked for the same company too. She got a job for it, and that's how they met in Vegas. Wait a minute. Okay, that's right. They met in Vegas. Okay, well, let's not get confused. The Vegas trial, they just met in Vegas, yeah. And then they've been seeing each other for a while. And so anyway, now one day he's going to go to Cancun, and he said, "No, I'm not taking you. I'm taking another girl." So I don't know, when she's in the interrogation room. I think she was arrested by then. I think, yeah, I think the minute the friends came by, I don't know, they had or I think they said he had two roommates, so they had a key to the house, and they came in the house, but his friends never liked Jody, and she was called the dirty little secret. At first he wanted to marry her until he found out how crazy she was, and so they started calling her the dirty little secret, because he didn't want to bring her around anymore to all the friends he works with. And he was a Mormon. But when he was still with her, like still, I think he was in love with her at first and that. He actually was the one that baptized her in a lake. Yeah, so I would say he had some pretty damn deep feelings. Oh, the abuse comment. I refuse. I brought it up to you, and I refuse. I think I refused to tell you it because it's so intense. But I meant to make sure I got the right word. All right, the tree story. Let's put that aside for a minute. Okay, have I told you what she was doing in the interrogation room? When the detective said, "Excuse me, I'll be right back." And he left the interrogation room, and she was alone in the room. And I think she was in bare feet or socks. And she did a headstand, a handstand, and she had her legs up the wall, and her hands, on the floor, and her arms straight, and she's leaned against the wall with her butt and her legs is all leaning against the wall, just fucking around like a little kid, not scared at all. Like, I might be, going on death row, and I'm definitely going to prison for life. No fear of losing freedom and the fun of life and being stuck. I can't understand these serial killers, but she's not a serial killer. She just murdered one. Like OJ only murdered one, and both Scott Peterson and what's his name, Peterson, the other one in Bolingbrook, they only murdered at one too. Because they're the type of murders that they get obsessed with the woman, and they go crazy. Well, not in I can't think of his freaking first name. Bolingbrook Peterson. He didn't murder her out of obsession like OJ. He wanted her out of the picture because she was going to divorce and take the kids and the house, Well, the dumbass, he's married, what, 3 or 4 times? Why don't you make him sign a prenup if instead of killing him, dumbass? You don't think you're going to go to jail, or ever get caught, when you keep doing this? Yeah, that one was a serial killer. He wasn't killing for the same reason as OJ, and no, actually, Scott Peterson wasn't doing the same either. OJ's the only one I could think off the top of my head that murdered his spouse out of, they're extremely, they're beating up their wife or their girlfriend. I mean, there's millions of them, millions on the internet. In the billions, actually, because we got 7 to 8 billion people on there. There's at least 1 billion, 2 billion, maybe 3 billion men beating the shit out of their wives and girlfriends and stuff like that. So I just thought it was crazy that she's not afraid of being locked up the rest of her life. No fear. And she's doing headstands, and she just slaughtered her boyfriend and then shot him in the head. And there's just no feeling. They're born this way. Okay, her, Ted Bundy. I gotta think before I say the two Petersons. But like Jodi Arias was not born with being able to feel other people's pain. And Ted Bundy was born without being able to feel other people's pain. Ted Bundy used to go to the library and study how to appear and talk and act like I care about you and I care what you're saying, because Ted Bundy, he had a lot of friends and popularity because he was going to be a lawyer. He was going to school to be a lawyer. And all his political friends were proud of him, and they would invite him to all the big fancy house parties and stuff, and they loved Ted Bundy. So a lot of the serial killers, they're real friendly and have normal lives. Yeah. The Green River Killer, perfectly normal life. Yeah, it was outrageous. Yeah, another one to bring up, but I'm not going to do that. I want to stick with, because that gets too depressing. It's exciting to watch, like, the Vegas one with the stripper. So that's enough. I'll bring it up another time. But I'm trying to just give you a little gossip after class so that you watch and think about what I'm saying when I'm teaching the class. So I don't know if you heard that, if I told you that before, that she did that. Isn't that crazy? It's on videotape on YouTube, doing handstands in the interrogation room. Just doesn't give a shit what's going on, It's really interesting to study people like that. Yeah. So I just took a note, I guess, from when Martinez, prosecuting attorney, was talking about the trial, about the story, about, So here's just a little excerpt of the night of the murder. She slit his throat from ear to ear, like O.J. Simpson, except his head didn't get close to decapitation. Like OJ's two victims, their heads were just about to fall off. That deep, They were hanging by a thread. Well, when Jodi cut his throat from ear to ear, it wasn't anywhere near decapitation. She's a woman, he's a man. She's not O.J. Simpson with Popeye the Sailor Man muscles, 6 foot something tall, So, slit from ear to ear. Oh, it says, wait. So she slit him from ear to ear. But it says causing immediate death. Wait a minute. Did she stab Trayvon in the head? I'm asking you. First injury, stabs in the heart. But he doesn't die yet, they say. Okay, first injury was she stabbed him right in the heart. See, she got him naked in the shower. And so, because they'd been having sex all night long, maybe 2 nights. I can't remember. I know it was all night. And they took over like 200 pictures of them, each other naked. So she got him in the shower to wash off, take, soap up, wash down. Then she was going to shower. But she had the conversation. So, will you take me to Cancun, Mexico? And he's like, no, I'm taking this other girl. And that's when she decided, I'm killing the motherfucker. If I can't have him, nobody else can. That's it. And so the first thing she did was she got him naked in the shower where he's helpless, more helpless, Yeah. And the first thing she did was walk up to him and stab him in the heart. But obviously she didn't stab him hard enough to kill him, because they said it didn't kill him. And then it said it slit throat from ear to ear, causing immediate death. But they said she stabbed you're getting mixed up, Melinda. Wait, Trayvon Martin. Travis. You're writing his name wrong here. It's Travis is his name. Travis Alexander. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, she stabbed Travis Alexander in the head. That's what I thought they were saying caused the immediate death. But I say here, slit throat from ear to ear, causing immediate death. So I think they're saying the ear to ear caused immediate death. And then she stabbed him in the head. And the first injury stabbed in the heart. I can't believe she didn't die from the stab in the heart. Because she ain't going to be dainty and gentle about it. She's angry. She's in love with this guy. She's a narcissist. And he's going to take another woman. So she's going to be when she stabs him in the heart. You know what I mean? She ain't going to just daintily go, You know what I mean? She's angry and she's a narcissist. She ain't afraid of nothing. But she's a narcissist and she's got other mental illnesses. And she was born without the ability to feel other people's pain. So I would think when she stabbed him in the heart, it'd be like that. That would kill him. So I can't believe they say when she stabbed him in the heart, that's not when he died. I mean, I can't believe she daintily went to his heart, I'll have to clear. Well, I'm not trying to teach you the whole thing in one class or in a week or in a month. I'm going to keep telling you bits and pieces here and there, and we'll get that clarified, If it was the ear to ear that was the immediate death, or when she stabbed him in the head. But I'm going to ask Microsoft, how could he be stabbed in the heart with an angry narcissist woman? Her boyfriend's taking another woman to Cancun, Mexico, and he's been fucking her all night and sucking her and taking naked pictures, hundreds of them. How could he not take me? It would be like she'd go, stab him real hard in the heart. So I don't know. I'm going to have to Google that. Well, I don't Google anymore. I'm always Microsoft assistant. I'm going to Microsoft it. How he would live after stabbed in the heart, and how stabbed in the head. Did that kill him? Get that clear. Okay. So you see, I'm giving you some gossip. Was it worth staying after class? Yeah. I watched Travis being attacked. Okay, this gets good. Here's where we're at now. So this is the papers I saved for after class. For the people who are privileged enough to hear, I listened to more shows before I put on my headphones, blasting music, and taking notes and researching. I watched something else, and I'm going to do this every day before I put my headphones on and research. I'm going to watch a lot of different stuff on YouTube footage and listen and learn, and a lot of it will be juicy stuff that I will save till after class so that you will watch and think about the whole class. So here, I went into another show. after I listened and watched live, you could see him. After I watched the prosecuting attorney of Jodi Arias' trial opening statements. It was very educational, and I'm glad I watched it and watched the whole thing because it taught me a lot more than the text. Okay, now I went into a show, and it's got 4 men, boxed off. You got a big box, and this box is a man, this box is a man, this box is a man, and this box a man. And they're all talking, and so here's some comments. So these gentlemen, I guess, are experts in body language, and like I'm real good at that too, just naturally, So they're like experts with body language, eye language. I'm gonna call it eye language. The non-emotional. So here's what this show. I listened to this show for a good while too, and I took notes to them to save for you guys for some exciting, thoughts of you learning who Jodi Arias is. Okay, so because she's very interesting. There's a lot of diversity and facets to Jodi's personality. And many mental illnesses, yeah. Some people can have more than one. Some could have 2. I think she was listed, I think I looked it up one time. She had like 3 or 4 mental illness. I'm not sure, but she's a narcissist. And she's whatever they call, I'm going to Google that, I'm going to Microsoft, what it's called when you're born without being able to feel other people's pain. I'm going to find out what that's called and all about that. So I watched this program, and this is what they said. Their body language. So they show an interview of Jodi Arias with some news reporter. I think she's already in jail, but they let her tweeze her eyebrows and wear some makeup. And so here's what they say. Jodi's quote here is, here, get this out of here. Okay. Jodi's quote was, I watched Travis being attacked. 2 other individuals. Quote, I don't know. I couldn't pick them out of a police lineup. I don't know. I couldn't pick them out of a police lineup, she says. And then, quote, they came into his house and attacked us both. This Jodi Arias. And then I'm watching her, just like you're watching me now. I'm watching Jodi Arias say all this. And then it'll flash to the 4 men in this program. It's a regular program they have. I don't know the name of it. I didn't take notice. And it's so one guy saying in the show, quote, individuals. So what one of these experts are saying is, so it's not just body language, it's words, rhetoric they use. Okay, so for example here, the one guy says, individuals. She calls when she's telling the story. See, this is what she did in the beginning of her storytelling when she first got arrested. She started out saying that there was 2 people that came in on him and that they murdered him. See, that's how it started. So let me read, because it says, individuals, according to one of the guys on this show, he's an expert on this stuff. He said she used the word individuals. It's classic non-emotional. So individuals is non-emotional. So let's read it again. I watched Travis being attacked. 2 other individuals. That means non-emotional, according to this guy in the program. But I hear a lot of people, I think, that use individuals normally, and I do too. And I think even police might use, no, they say subjects. Anyway, this guy thinks individuals means she's a sign of her non-emotional. I don't know so much. Could be, but I'm not going to, I think him claiming it's not emotional and wrapping it up in a nutshell. No, it ain't wrapped up in a nutshell. It might be a little a little, touch of some non-emotion. But lots of people use the word individuals, and they're not non-emotional. Okay, instead of talking about what happened, she's talking about the evidence instead of talking about what happened. So I just took a couple of short, quick notes of the show, them watching the interview with me, like you're watching me now. I'm watching Jodi Arias. While the men, we go back to the men and then they talk. Okay, so we're back to the men, and they say, instead of Jodi talking about what happened, like most people would do, she talked about the evidence because she wants to know what they know and what they think. See, that's why. And then it says Travis beating. Oh, I'm not going to tell that one. She makes up this insane story to try to, trash his reputation. But he did say some very abusive. I'm not ready to tell you that. I'm gonna save it for the end of a class. I have to re-Google, or no, Microsoft it, Cortana. I have to know what it was. I know the beginning of the story, but I don't know what blankety blank was that he used, okay? So I will get back to you on that note when I confirm what he used, okay? But you should hear what he said. Oh, he didn't actually do it, but it was what he said. He said it, and it's, no boyfriend can, even abusive boyfriends, a lot of them don't talk like that. I'll tell you, it's about a tree. Just remember, it's a tree story. All right. And then this one, still the show I watched. So, blank stare, meaning, quote, I'm being serious, unquote. So one of the guys in the show thinks a blank stare, meaning, quote, I'm being serious. So he says she's being serious. She appears to be serious because of this blank look. Body language, letting her hair fall over side of her face. So she does have a little fear, which normally narcissists don't have fear. Because she has no fear. She just murdered this guy and knows she's going for life or maybe death row. And she has no fear. But this guy in this body language expert show is saying she was letting her hair fall a little more over the side of her face because she was getting a little uncomfortable in this interview. So that's his perception. She might be letting her hair fall down, trying to act like I'm depressed. We're talking about my dead boyfriend. That's what I think why she was letting her hair kind of fall, like mine to the side, fall down. I don't think Jodi is scared of anybody interviewing her. I think he's wrong about her having her hair fall over the side of her face is because she's scared, because she's being interviewed and she just slaughtered her boyfriend. Oh, she slaughtered him. It wasn't just a stabbing her too. Yeah, I don't think the hair over the face was fear. Jodi doesn't have fear, so he's wrong about that. I'm really into this shit. That guy that said that, he hasn't watched as many high-profile trials as I have and listened to every word verbatim and sometimes take notes on some of the trials. But I have it memorized. I'm so into it. Yeah. So, and then it says kill, murder, both in denial. Oh, they're saying not afraid to use these words. Okay, so she wasn't afraid to use the words kill and murder when she's being accused of murder. This is the guys on the show that's supposed to be experts. Okay, so kill and murder, they're saying on the show, she's not afraid to use these words. And it's because both in denial. She's in denial about kill and murder, so she ain't afraid to say it. She's not just in denial. She just don't give a flying fuck. No, it's not. she's not in, she might, she's talking in denial because she's trying to defend herself. But inside her head, she ain't afraid of nothing. This guy thinking she's afraid. Joe, people that can't feel other people's pain, they have no fear. No fear. Like OJ, they have no fear. So, and then down here it says, quote, any way called qualifier, quote unquote. And then he says, this is the guy, one of the guys from the show. So, quote, hollow, like a hollow tree, hollow and empty. He's calling Jody hollow and empty. Well, yeah, you're damn right she's hollow and empty. Yes, correct. He's got that one right. Jody during public interview is hollow and empty in a public interview. Forget She doesn't know how to show emotion. That's why forget it, I can't think of his name. So, a failure to answer the question in the first place. I guess he said that she failed to answer a question the first time or something. I guess I got a lot more notes than I thought. This is still from the show I watched. So see, I'm starting to watch shows and listen and learn about this trial and about Jody. I'll be watching a ton of her talking. She even played, she had, the first time, I think it was, what did they call it? I forget what you call it. But it was like, it didn't have, I forget what the name is. A hung jury, I think it was. And then they did a second trial, and she played her own lawyer in Jodi Arias. And I'm telling you, I don't think she even has college education, but she's highly intelligent. She got a job at the same company that her boyfriend she murdered. He was already working there. And then she got the job. I don't know how she found it. But it took her to Vegas. And that's where they met. Okay. So, oh yeah, she's got borderline personality. That's where they murder. Yeah. Looks like borderline personality to the extreme. This is one of the guys talking in that show. When he says, wait, you got the wrong name written here, Melinda. You got to fix this. It's Trayvon. I got that Trayvon Martin. I get him mixed up with Travis. I watched them both practically at the same time. Yeah, they were like one after the other. Okay, so she says, I witnessed rhetoric like she is in court or police report. I witnessed rhetoric like she is in court or police report. I don't know what that means. No description of them. Oh, I witnessed. They're saying she witnessed, but it's not saying anything else. Like she's in court. She's talking like she's in court, or it's a police report, I guess. No description of the people. She claims these two people came in, and I think she thought it was a guy and a girl, maybe. And they held the gun up, but, she got away. So you'll keep hearing more and more, but that's why you want to stick around after class, because sometimes I'm done and I just start talking all over the place. But no, instead, I may set up something to talk about Jodi Arias that I'm watching now, and now I'm getting your footage off there and listening. So these guys in this show are saying she said she witnessed, like she's in court, but she's in an interview, so they're saying like that's weird, or it's a police report she's talking like, and it says no description of them, but she does give a big description. She goes into it big time. It's just not, this guy just didn't see it. Yeah, no. There's a whole thing I will look up um, her describing, I forgot about that part, that she made that story up first. And instead of just pleading guilty to me, she first, she must have pleaded not guilty first, because she tells the story that there's two people come dressed all in black. So I'll look that up and give you the whole. Well, I did write some down. It should be here. Okay, it says, I'm not going to talk about them. This is Jody still talking. I'm not going to talk about them. Filler, the word filler, one of the guys in that show is saying filler. Why does the brain have to think of it? Why does the brain have to think of it? I don't know I don't know who said that. Then the guy from the show says trophy gesture. And that means her hand is, okay, so he's talking about, they show this big picture, just like how big I am in that screen. They show a big picture of Jodi Arias and her boyfriend, Travis, okay, in a swimming pool. And she's in bikini, and, you can't see his bathing suit, and they're in a little swimming pool. I don't know, maybe it was a hot tub or a swimming pool. I don't remember. But she had her arm around his back and around his neck, and she was holding like this. So she took this arm, went around, and you could see her hand around over here. Then she so she probably went like this, and then at the same time in the picture, she has a right hand like this, holding his chin and his face like in place, see? So one comes around, and then the other one is holding his face while she's holding the back of his neck at the same time. So she's holding his face and his head in place. So I don't know. That's what he's calling the trophy gesture. Her hand is around his neck. See, this is what one of the guys on that show said. It's called trophy gesture, what I just described, holding his head in place. Her hand is around his neck, in the back, and left around Jodi, and left around. Jodi is holding chin, okay? See how much exciting news you get when you stick around and you think about what I'm saying and you learn what I'm saying? See all the fun stuff I'm sharing with you because you listened and learned today and you paid attention. And please subscribe. All of the new people out there, please subscribe. It'll make me smile. See? And you get to see my bright white teeth. Cheese. If you subscribe, I smile. And you get to see my white teeth. Aren't they pretty? Cheese. I look like a Hollywood diva. That's why it's called Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. Okay, you guys. Are you enjoying this class? Did you have fun? Okay. We're down to about the last thing here. Looks like borderline personality. I forgot. Yeah, she's that too. She's a narcissist, a borderline personality to the extreme, the guy says. They will kiss up in an interview. This guy, remember I'm watching the program, The Experts? And then they would flash to her being interviewed, I think in jail by a reporter. Okay, so now this guy in that show says, looks like she's borderline personality. And to the extreme, the guy says on that show. She looks like she's borderline personality to the extreme. They will kiss up. People like borderline personality and to the extreme. He's saying their personality is they will kiss up, quote, unquote, to you. They will kiss up to you until they get what they want. Just like, woman, beautiful woman. I had lots of situations, years ago, when I was, I don't want to talk about the past and the bad stuff. you don't even have to be drinking. Girls can just kiss up to a guy and manipulate him to do something for him. If they're a pretty girl and they're, so and this guy in the show is saying that's what Jody does with her borderline personalities. They kiss up, but see, a lot of women do that. We use our beauty and they're wanting something, and we use our beautiful bodies and faces and hair and kiss up to them and manipulate them. So I think it's bad for him. Well, he didn't say. He just makes it sound like only borderline and borderline personality to the extreme are the only people that do that. No, most women, I would say probably more than 50% women, especially if they're real attractive. You don't have to be attractive if the guy's in love with you or he's wanting it. Women will kiss up to him and manipulate men and control him and get him to do things, and that's what Jody would do until she gets what she wants. And when they see you're not playing their game, so if this is a situation we're not used to, she's seeing them not playing her game, then her emotions are running all over the place. When she's seeing that she ain't controlling you or manipulating you, her emotions start running. Now that's when she'll get her emotions, will run all over the place and get real emotional. That's only one of the few ways you can get a borderline narcissist to get emotional, is when she's not winning over what she wants. When she sees this guy ain't going to give her what she wants, her emotions start running all over the place. That person plugging into everything I have. Plugging into everything I have. I think the guy on the expert show saying she's plugging into everything he has to try to get, manipulate him. So, which him being attacked by zombies. Oh, I wrote that note down. Which him being attacked by zombies. Eyes blinking. I don't know. She must have said that somewhere. Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of that. It's which him being attacked by zombies. That's probably Jody talking about when she said two people came in black, pitch black, and I think she said one was a man, one was a woman. She's saying she's watched them being attacked by zombies. Now she's calling them zombies. She's just talking out her ass, man. And then eyes blinking. The expert show guys say when your eyes blink 8 times, talking about what happened, because she could have some nervousness. But I don't think Jody gets nervous or scared or lost for words. He's trying to say when she's explaining what happened, she's blinking her eyes 8 times. Everybody blinks their eyes constantly. That's normal. But about what happened, he's trying to say she was scared, talking about what happened to a news reporter. No. See, I was born a natural lawyer, even without if I never had any education, I could get in there and still do a damn good job. I was born a lawyer, and a court reporter and a journalist reporter. And I was born to, I always said I'm going to write, film, produce, and star in my own show. And here I am. I'm starring in my own show, Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. And everybody around the world in foreign countries can see me. Okay, so that's it, folks. Did you enjoy the after-class gossip I got? Listening and watching YouTube video footage of different people. I'm watching shows, like people talking about it. You got a lot, So I think you felt like it was worth staying and getting all the other notes I had saved before. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not at the end. Well, we did talk about trophy. Separate or move hard. Separate or move hard. That's also called trophy. Well, the hands around the hand holding his chin and around his neck, they would call him trophy, I think. And here it says trophy's called separate or move hard. If you move something hard, it's like trophy. I don't know. Originally, the heads of the enemy display it, and that is a trophy. Let's read that again. Originally, the heads of the enemy display it, and that is a trophy. The trophy, holding his head, is a trophy. Oh, I do got it written down. Holding his head is a trophy. It's called a trophy. Allowing me body, I don't know. Do that, complete control. Headline of the story, not story. I don't know. I was jotting sporadic notes. Supplement, and then they explode. He's talking about Jody Arias, I guess, one of the experts on that show. Says supplement, and then they explode. I'm not proud of that. I left him in the... Okay, here's a quote from Jody. I'm not proud of that. I left him in the hands of 2 other people. Jody says, I'm not proud of that. I left him in the hands of 2 other people. So this is where she's still trying to pull off that a couple came in and did this. So she's out of the picture. And she's going to get them to buy it. But she doesn't realize how dumb she's a very smart woman. She played her own lawyer the second time around. And she don't have any legal education like I do. I don't know how much college education she has, but she's highly intelligent, and she's reading books or she's learning somewhere, because she took over that courtroom and acted like a lawyer, and I don't think ever had a law class in her life. She could study it in jail. She was kept in jail for the second trial. Yeah. And so she can go to the library and study. And she's very highly smart and was able to pull off acting like I was so impressed of her acting like a lawyer. She acted like the best lawyer in the whole room. Better than the 2 she had, and better than the prosecuting attorney. She was a smooth operator. She worked that jury. But I still forget. But this time they weren't going to let her go, Because then of course, the prosecuting attorney comes in, and it's his turn talking. And this time, he ain't going to let her get away. No, we got I think they had to get a whole new jury. Yeah, you have to get a whole new jury when you retry somebody. Yeah, you have to. Don't you? Yeah. You have to get a whole new jury. God, I can't think of that. When you retry, I can't remember if you get the same jury. That makes me sound stupid with all my college education. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up if you get a new jury. I think you can keep the same, maybe. I'll look it up later. All right, so holding his head is called a trophy. And do that, they want complete control. That's why she's probably holding his head. She is like in complete control. Headline of the story, not story. Supplement, and then they explode. People like Jody. And now she quotes in her interview. We're still in the interview with the show of experts that were analyzing her, evaluating her, psych, whatever you call it, psych assessment. Okay, Jody says in that interview, I'm not proud of that. I left him in the hands of 2 other people. So she's still playing the role at this time that 2 people came in and did this. And you look guilty here, adjectives, same as his reporter, Anyway, and I wrote Dirty Little Secret because that's what her name became um, when, her craziness grew and grew, you know, and his friends are telling him, get away from her, get away. And he's like, don't worry, I know what's going on, I can handle it. I remember seeing that in the movie. They made a movie of this. They made a movie of this. They made a movie of Drew Peterson in Bolingbrook, Illinois. They made a movie with, Scott Peterson and Lacey. Yeah, so you can watch the movie. And I see the movies and the trials. And this I've been doing, like I said, since the 60s. So I'm more than my college education. Yeah, when you're watching the real thing live and listening to every word over and over, high profile, and low profile, just nobody's, but they are somebody, but they're not like, rich and famous or whatever. They're beautiful like Jody, and the whole craziness of her story makes it a high profile. So I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, I was going to tell you about. So one thing Jody did when she was leaving, she went and got a gun out of was it her parents' house or her grandfather or grandmother's house? So one of them had a gun. I want to say a grandmother or grandfather or an aunt or her family. Anyway, one of those. She went and got a gun. And so she hits the road she was living in California and he's in Arizona. So it was like a long distance relationship. But they saw a lot of each other in the beginning, and so she's smart enough to say, I'm going to make it so they can't trace my route and pen me for, well, we got you leaving your house, your parents' house, or the grandpa's house. She probably went into the parents' house when she went to get the gun from maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I'm sure she went into the parents' house and then left. And what she did along the way, so they couldn't track Jody, she came from here and did this route? No. She went way into the desert, like way out of your way. Like she lives here, he lives here, and she goes way over here in the desert, okay, to gas up so that they can't get the evidence of proof Jody left the parents' house and she drove from their house to his house. She went far out into the desert, and what she did was she had already bought, like at probably a Walmart's or something. I don't know if Walmart's would sell it. Maybe got to go to like Home Depot. She bought like 4 big red tanks for gas, the gasoline tanks, okay? But these suckers are huge, like this and like that. You understand? Real big. And she bought 4 tanks at this gas station and filled them up with gas. So she didn't have to stop at any gas station. Because if she had to stop at any gas station, then the cops would, I'm sure they went to every gas station, doing that. I forgot what happens with the red tanks. If they find the gas station, because that's I'll have to look at. Well, see, that's right. I'm just telling you. See, you're being privileged because stuff is just spontaneously coming out of me. See, that's why I'm Miss Melinda Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. You gotta subscribe, okay? And please hit my like. Did you subscribe yet? Subscribe and stay with me, because this is going to keep getting better and better. Look at how much more I have told you after class. So you are privileged because you stayed and listened to the whole video. so you get to have this fun with me. So she filled up the gas tanks and put them in the back of her car and took off. Um, and that was a good idea, because they probably went to all the gas stations, but they would pick like a trail, but like a route she would take. I don't know how many different routes they tried, like gas stations. This Jody Arias stop here for gas at this night or this afternoon or whatever, this day, this date, the day of his, then the 24-hour period of his death, So we'll find out about the tanks. Anyway, yeah, I think she just threw them in the desert. Well, I don't think, yeah, I guess so. Anyway, I think as they emptied, I think she might have taken the time to bury them in the desert. We'll find out another time. So see all the extra stuff you got by staying with me? All right, so body language, I absolutely did not. Oh, Jody says, I absolutely did not. Body language, I put romance, I don't know. Common cliche statement. I absolutely did not is a common cliche statement. Yeah. Okay. And head shake to did not. And her head shaking. That's a common. The experts on that show are saying when they shake their head, that's a common body language. They're trying to say they did not. Hands are locked down. I don't know what that means. Hands are locked down, serious. Oh, her hands were locked down. That's right. And serious. She was serious. No forehead motion. Notable. Strong denial. The head shaking is a body language according to these experts. Head shake. And her saying, did not, and had her hands locked down, and that means she's serious, no forehead motion, notable, strong denial, shows strong denial. But she don't give a shit about denial. She's not scared about anything. She even said, I think it was that interview, I remember. I don't know if I saw it today, because I don't know if I didn't see the whole interview, but she said that they're not going to convict. No jury is ever going to convict me because I didn't do it, and no jury is ever going to convict me. And I had something else I was going to say, and it slipped away from me. But she said, no jury is ever going to convict me because I didn't do it. And there was something else and it slipped my mind. Oh, well, okay. So I think this was a fun class, you guys. And watch out for lesson 5 called Trials, quote unquote. Law class 5, I mean. Okay. I want y'all to subscribe, and I want you to view all 4 of these videos called Trials. This whole Jodi Arias thing. It's got everything exciting, sex, murder, fame, fortune, everything. And I will be bringing in fame and fortune from Vegas, and Trial from there is going to be coming talked about. Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to talk about another trial at the same time. It's perfectly okay. Who knows how many I'll mention, but I won't get deep with the others. But like the Vegas where she was a stripper. This is another trial I watched. That is a kick-ass plot. So you're going to be hearing. So stick around, but you're only going to get to hear about the Vegas stripper and how that story is that's a cool one. They had a movie. I watched the movie. I watched the whole trial. Yes, verbatim. And I remember everything I hear when it comes to trials because I'm so into them. So you will get that one. I will be talking, but I will only talk about that one after class so that I know you are thinking about what I am saying. You're not just spacing out, are you? Okay. So I will teach you, I will tell you a little something about the stripper trial. But I can't get much into her because we need to stay focused with Jodi Arias in this trial as one, or it's going to get too confusing. But I can, after class, you will be privileged enough to hear, as long as it's after class, you'll be privileged to hear about the stripper girl and what well, she had 2 different boyfriends. You'll hear it. It's juicy. So eventually, as we unwind with Jodi, but that's going to take months because I want you to hear like all these different shows talking about like Nancy Grace, all these different shows. And I also want to listen to her talking and tell you that stuff too. So, please subscribe, and when you watch the whole video, I will promise I will always have some exciting new things to tell you. Okay. Subscribe and hit my like, please. Okay? Let me give you a kiss goodnight. Okay. Love you. Good night. Go to bed.